Good afternoon, it's me again. I'm getting ready for a court case on the 11th, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if anybody wants to show up. It's in Ripley County, and that's Missouri, so, it's going to be quite a white trip. I was talking to ChatGPT last night for about 4 hours, I suppose, about a couple different things, and one thing is, as we were discussing stuff and I was looking at different things, and I've got a ton of websites open, they're making some claims. They're saying, I operated the motor vehicle without a driver's license, I failed to register, we'll get into the word failing, and then I didn't have insurance. So this is what they give you, or what you can print off. It's the Motor Vehicle Watercraft and Aviation. So in that, they do a couple things that is absolutely, somebody over there in the state of Missouri, the business state of Missouri, knows exactly what they were writing. They know exactly what they were saying. They know exactly what they were doing when they wrote this, because motor vehicle is any self-propelled vehicle not operated exclusively upon tracks except motorized bicycles as defined in section 307.180 and electric bicycles as defined in section 301.10. Motor vehicle. Any self-propelled vehicle. Well, let's look at the definition of vehicle. Vehicle. Any mechanical device on wheels designed primarily for use or used on highways. Not city streets, not county roads, nothing. Except motorized bicycles, electric bicycles, vehicles, okay, so now propelled or drawn by horse or human power, or vehicles used exclusively on fixed rails or tracks or cotton trailers or motorized wheelchairs operated by handicapped person. Now, here's another stupid thing. We still don't know, according to them, what a vehicle is. It says license. A license issued by a state to a person which authorizes a person to operate a motor vehicle. Operate a motor vehicle. We still don't actually know what that is, because they use the word operator right there. And it says every person who is in actual physical control of a motor vehicle upon a highway. We don't know what a motor vehicle is, but we do know what a highway is. So you're physically in possession or control of a motor vehicle on a highway, not a city street, not a county road, not a dirt road, not a farm. So I jumped on the ChatGPT, and we had a whole conversation about a bunch of stuff. So we came up with, as you can see, this right here was way down at the bottom. And I'm going to show you what we kind of came up with, because ChatGPT, I don't hate it, but I don't love it, because a lot of it's taught and stuff from the internet itself, which not everything is factually accurate on the internet. Until you start digging, you don't really know exactly what's going on. So I'm going to let you guys go through this, and I'll be really quiet, and I'll hit on a couple things. And it starts off with, this goes right along with Federal Rule 602. Feel free to pause this. This is incredibly good. Challenges assumed jurisdiction, demands proof of obligation, exposes enforced assumptions. Then I asked it to go a little bit further. Here's how it applies Rule 602 to traffic citations. It says, challenging the offer's testimony. And then using 602 to challenge automated citations, like if you had a toll bridge, or if you had one that came out because, some way, somehow it's automated. Okay. Strengthening the argument with contract law. Now this is what gets into like UCC codes and CFR, Code of Federal Regulations. And then it got into the final impact. Okay, fantastic. And then I like the question, did you personally verify that I was under statutory jurisdiction, or did you rely on presumed compliance? I like what they had asked before, so they expounded on it. And then I went to bed after this, which was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I asked them just to build me something. And this is what they came up with. Establishing the officer's personal knowledge, Rule 602. So this is where you want to figure out what the cop knows. Challenging legitimacy of financial enforcement. So one of the greatest questions I think I've ever heard is this one here. Officer, is this citation issued as part of public safety enforcement policy or a revenue generating mechanism? And then it asked about questions about, do citations contribute financially? Can you confirm whether municipal courts derive revenue? Does your department, this is good right here, because it specifies his or her specific department or the municipality receive financial benefits from citation enforcement. And if the tickets are purely for enforcing law, why do they require payment rather than corrective measures? So instead of saying, you owe us $300 for court fines and why don't they just say, hey, how can we help you fix it? Like, are they not there to protect and serve? This is the underlying facade that is proposed by police departments. And then this is exposing the officer's authority to issue financial obligations. This is really solid. If tickets are contractual, where's my document? Consent proving I entered into an enforceable agreement. If you didn't sign the ticket, like if you didn't sign the ticket at all, or if you did sign the ticket but you wrote like under duress without recourse. Without recourse is probably the best one. That thing alone negates this whole thing. So, and then this is always what you do. You always challenge jurisdiction. I don't care what anybody says. There's about 50 different cases, United States cases, Supreme Court cases, different states cases about challenging the actual jurisdiction. And so just read that. And then this is, if it's automated, if you ever got an automated ticket and you're trying to go to court over automated stuff, so you get an automated ticket and you can ask questions that are very pertinent to it. If the citation was issued by an automated system, where is the required human verification proving a violation occurred? Can the plaintiff state? Now that's imperative too, because that is exactly what the prosecutor says that he is representing. And the plaintiff state, we all know it's not a geographical location because they don't bring claims, they don't bring suits. An officer personally observed an alleged violation. Does an AI or camera system have legal standing to enforce an obligation without human discretion? Basically, they're giving authority to robots. And they're just saying, you were here, so you have to do these things. So you're going to challenge every single solitary thing they say. And here's contract law. So as an old painting contractor, I owned a painting company. And I've been in the construction business for about 20 years, and I've written tons and tons of contracts. Commercial, residential, everything you can think of. So this is really, really important. This is an awesome one. If I endorse the citation without recourse, does that remove my liability under financial contract law? Yeah, it sure does. Because without recourse means you can't come back on me ever, never, never, ever. Are officers acting as financial enforcement agents? This is a good one too. Rather than law enforcement when issuing citations. Does the ticket create an implied contract? Okay. I like this. This is really good. If you don't know what the but-for test is, but for X would Y exist. That's really what it comes out to be. So, but-for test. Sorry, guys. I'm pretty new to this. So, but-for test says, the but-for test is a test commonly used in both tort law and criminal law to determine actual causation. The text, but for the existence of X, would Y have occurred? So, when it says, but, all the way down, right? But for the officer's assumption, since we've already shown 20 questions ago that he's been assuming stuff, that I was subject to statutory jurisdiction. Where's the legal proof that enforcement was valid? All right, blah, 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 blah. Is there direct evidence? Now, this is important too, because Federal Rule 602, we already saw that earlier in the video, that you have to have personal first-hand knowledge. Any witness, so the officer needs to have personal first-hand knowledge that is there a direct evidence? He's got to be able to provide you with the actual evidence, proving the citation was issued under lawful authority rather than policy enforcement. But for assumes compliance, where is my explicit consent to laws being applied to me? And now this is what I want you guys to really dig down on. You might want to like pause the video after you've done pause the video enough times to read this. Officer, are you required under Rule 602 to provide first-hand knowledge? Yeah, he is. Of my legal obligation. Can you confirm that you verified it? You verified it. Not the prosecutor, not your sergeant, not your captain, not anybody else, not the clerk. Before issuing the citation, does municipal enforcement prioritize financial penalties over corrective actions? Now, I like this one here. Does the plaintiff state operate as a legal entity enforcing obligations rather than a geographical territory imposing regulations? Geographical. So just go over that, read it, check it out, and you know, I would definitely sit back and go over things and say, you know, what is this can I use? Can I use some of this? Would I like to change some of this? How do I make it my own? Being said, you guys are amazing, and I will make another video, and I'll see you guys again.